Welcome to the channel, everybody. My name's Tank, and today we're going to be doing a little something different for anybody that's here for the first time, which I don't know, with a video like this, most everybody that's watching this probably already knows me. But if you don't know me, I am a touring guitar tech in the music industry, and I'm about to go back out on tour. Actually, when you see this video, I will be on tour, going out to do some dates with Powerwolf. When they come to the US for the first time, they get a bunch of shows. They asked if I would help out in guitar tech, and I'm going to do that. But one of the questions that I always get from people is, what do I bring when I go on tour? Now, the answer to that can vary depending on what kind of tour I'm on and how long it lasts and stuff like that. But today I want to take some time to actually show you guys what I'm actually going to bring on that tour and what I use all of these things for. Now, a lot of the focus on this video is going to be specifically things related to what's in my tech workbox. I'm really not going to be talking about like clothing unless it's really specific stuff that I think helps me day to day that I think is a necessity for touring. I'm talking more like my actual workbox and the tools that are in it and the cleaners that I use and hearing protection and stuff too, like my in-ears that I use on stage or my Eargasm earplugs that I use when I'm not on stage and don't want stuff to be super loud around me. But as always, if there's anything you guys have questions about, feel free to drop a comment. If there's more specific information you want on a tool or what I use it for or something like that, I'd be happy to talk more about it. But let's just get going here. I know I said we weren't going to be talking about clothing, and we're not going to do a deep dive. I'm not going to tell you guys what kind of underwear and socks and stuff I'm packing, but there are some specific things that will help for your job. Now, most of you already know roadies, we're wearing black. I mean, this is how I'm going to look every day. Black t-shirt, black jeans, probably a black jacket or a black hoodie for show times and stuff like that. But when you're going on tour, one of the important things to look at is, how is the weather going to be where you're going? Because different areas of the country and different areas of the world and different times of the year are going to require different things. Now, considering right now in North America, we're in winter and we're going to the Northeast United States and Eastern Canada, it's going to be cold and there's going to be snow. So I need to make sure I'm bringing a good jacket for when we're loading out and loading in and stuff like that. Something that's water resistant, something that's wind resistant. And luckily, I do have one of those jackets. But for when we're not loading in and loading out, we're in the venue, I usually like to just bring a good hoodie or a light jacket or something like that. And then the other thing that I feel is kind of important that I shouldn't leave out of this is shoes. Most roadies are on their feet for 12 to 16 hours a day. You want something that's super comfortable, but you want something that's also going to be supportive and safe. So for that reason, I actually like to use like a high ankled shoe that is comfortable, but also has a steel toe in it. So if you were to look at them, and I'll probably get a picture of them and throw them on screen, they look like sneakers and they are very comfortable, but they do have that steel toe in there. And the reason that I really suggest that, because I know not everybody likes steel toe boots and shoes, is I've been doing this long enough to know that anything around you can crush your toes. I mean, set carts, amps, whatever. So it's always better safe to be sorry. So I would always suggest a good pair of steel toe shoes or boots. And then the other super important thing is comfy clothes for when you're on the bus or you're in a hotel. I always make sure that I have super comfy sweatpants or maybe like a cutoff t-shirt or something loose that I can just lounge in, because you don't want to be wearing the same kind of clothes on a day off or when you're on the bus. You know, one of the best things about finishing a show day is getting out of your jeans and your black t-shirt and all your work clothes and just being comfortable and melting into your bunk. And since we're talking about bunks on a bus, and you can apply this to hotels as well, one of the most important things for me in a bunk is to make sure I have like an adaptable charger. I prefer something like this that has a wall outlet mount, whatever. See if my camera really gets in there. There you go. This one's great because it's got USB, C, and A. I use the C for my headphones that I use in my bunk. I like to listen to podcasts and music when I'm going to sleep, but I also like to charge my iPad and my phone. And one of the things to really keep in mind when you get on a bus is that oftentimes in buses, the power in your bunk is going to be at your feet. So always make sure when you have a phone charger, you get a really long one. I go 10 feet just in case, because you never know when you're going to need that length. And it also works out in hotel rooms too. If you have a plug that's away from the bed, you can easily run that to your bed and have your phone charged right next to you. Some people also like to keep flashlights in their bunk in case they need it. I really don't, because most bunks on buses have lights at the head, but a good flashlight is essential on tour. And I just got a new one recently. I do have one in my Main Workbox that's rechargeable and it's super bright, like 1,000 lumens, but this is one that's good for fly dates. This is just an Energizer brand flashlight that you can get at the store for like $15, powered by two 123 batteries. It's like 500 lumens. It's perfect to fit right in your pocket, because at showtime during dark stages and stuff like that, you never know when you're going to need a light, and it's always good to have, especially when you're dealing with gear or walking artists to and from the stage. But let's talk about hearing protection really quick, because this is one of the most neglected things on tour and for concert goers, and really for anybody that just works in a loud environment. Now, as a tech, for me, during the shows and during sound check, I use in-ears. And I use JH Audio Laylas. They are probably a bit overkill for a tech. I also have some of their lower end stuff that works great. But these are fantastic, because not only do they cancel out a lot of noise, but we plug these straight into our monitor packs and we can hear whatever we want. Now, most of the times when I'm working for artists, I like to hear whatever they're hearing. So a guitar player that I'm teching for, I will have the same mix as them. And they're very easy to use. You just literally loop them around your ear like that, pop them in, ready to go, and they're easy to take out. But regular hearing protection is huge as well. And we've talked about this on the channel before. I actually have a video where I talk about long-term hearing damage from concerts and just other loud environments. I'll throw a link, or well, not a link, a little thumbnail or whatever up here if anybody wants to check that out. But one of the things I always carry on me, Eargasm earplugs, always. And I've talked about these guys a lot because I like them, and they have sponsored content on this channel, and they are right now, full disclosure. But I've been using these guys since, 2017 or 18, long before I was ever doing the YouTube stuff. Because hearing protection is something I wish I would have taken seriously at a younger age. I definitely have long-term hearing damage from working in the music industry for so long without using hearing protection. Now, as I've said before, any kind of hearing protection is great. Just protect your ears somehow. But there are things that I like about Eargasm earplugs that I don't get from other things. A lot of the common things you see at concerts is the foam earplugs. They're usually neon green or orange. And that's cool and all. That will protect everything and keep the decibel limit loud, but it also cuts out high and mid frequencies from sound. So you're going to get a really muddy sound when you're listening to concerts. With Eargasm earplugs, they don't filter any of that out. You still get the highs and mids from that natural sound while just reducing the decibels to actually a safe level. Because if I remember it right off the top of my head, exposure to 100 decibels or louder for as little as 15 minutes can permanently damage your ears and start causing long-term hearing damage. So if anybody out there goes to concerts or works in the industry and isn't protecting their ears, look into it, man. And if you do want to look more into it, check out what Eargasm has. Now, when I'm on the road, I use their regular high-fidelity earplugs, and this can be for a lot of different situations. Sometimes when I'm in my bunk at night, I like to put the earplugs in just to help get me to sleep. Or when I'm not using my in-ear monitors when I'm on stage, like if I'm off the stage but another band is sound checking, I will also throw those in to protect my hearing. But they have so many options for different situations. As I already brought up, the high fidelity earplugs are a great choice. That's what a lot of people I know on the road also use. But they also have earplugs for smaller ears, for people that just have smaller ear canals or kids. They also have bundles that you can get that have all their different kinds that you can use. They have stuff for flying. They have stuff for swimming. They have so much to offer. And like I said, I've been using this company for so long that I really believe in their product and I like them a ton. So if you're interested in protecting your ears and also still hearing things the way they're meant to be heard, feel free to check the link in the description of this video or the link that's pinned in the comments. Or if you go to their website, feel free to use the code TankTheTech at checkout for 10% off your entire order. And thank you so very much to Eargasm Earplugs for sponsoring this video. Now let's move on to what I'm sure everybody wants to know about, the actual gear that I use on the road. Now, on most normal tours that I'm on full time, I have a big, huge rolling workbox that I keep all my stuff in, and I'll throw a picture on screen so you can see what that looks like. But this thing is able to hold everything I need. All my tape, all my tools, all the strings for the artists I'm working for, cleaners, and a lot of extra stuff too. And it's great because it's got power on the back of it that I can just plug into a wall outlet somewhere, and it's got a power strip on top, and everything I need I can just plug in and go right there. But there are some situations where I can't use that thing. And the tour that I'm on now is one of those situations because we're flying out there. So what I do in cases like this is I have this little briefcase, tech top case that I will show on screen that folds shut and opens really easy, and it's got storage in it. And I absolutely love it. It's what I take on all fly dates and all quick runs. It's made by Circle 3 Designs based in New Jersey in the US. Run by a friend of mine. I've been using his stuff forever. Every case I ever get built, that's who I use because the products are great. And this thing is perfect for these small shows. It doesn't take, well, not necessarily small shows, but it's perfect for these situations where I'm only out for a few days or doing fly dates because it doesn't take up a lot of space. It can fit everything I need for that run. And it's super lightweight to fly with. I'm not paying overages when I'm flying with airlines. But let's check out the main necessities that I bring out with me. First two things that are essentials for any TankTheTech workbox: tuners. And I always bring two with me, not only just in case one fails, but I also like to run them together and check how accurate they are. And the two tuners I have are slightly different. One of them is a go-to for when I'm just tuning during a show, and the other one is the one that I like to use for setup. So the first one that I have here is the TC Electronic Polytune 3. This thing is great. It's not that expensive. It's super easy to read when it's lit up, and it's very accurate. The other one that I like to use, it's a little more accurate, is the Peterson Strobe Stomp HD. Now, this is a little more expensive, but it's a great tuner, and it's very accurate for when you're doing setups and stuff like that too. So if I've just restring a guitar or I'm doing a setup, I usually like to look at this one. But again, during a show, I have both of them set up together so that I can kind of cross-reference each one of them just to make sure that, yeah, they are accurate and my guitar is in tune. Now, there are a lot of tools that I bring out with me, but it's a lot of standard stuff, man. I always make sure that I have screwdriver sets, both normal size and micro sizes for working on, pedal board stuff or small parts on guitars. So I'm not really going to waste a lot of time on normal tools that make sense just to have out there. But again, it's stuff like screwdrivers and wrenches, and I have a tape measure and stuff like that. So let's just dive into the stuff that I use on a daily basis when I'm working on guitars. Now, most of you guys that already follow this channel know that almost everything I use is Music Nomad. I love their products. I've been using them for years now, and everything that they make is environmentally safe as well. And I've compared them to other products. They don't leave the residue that a lot of other stuff does. So that's why most everything you're going to see is Music Nomad. But to start out, very important thing to bring out with you, lots and lots of cloths for cleaning guitars. Now, I just got these. I haven't opened them yet, but I have quite a few different kinds. The first one that I have here, microfiber suede polishing cloth. You can see there's 3 different ones in there because whenever I'm using a different chemical, I always use a different cloth. I don't like to mix anything or anything like that. If you've seen my tech videos on here, you know that I always have what I call a wet cloth that I use to actually spray chemicals on and wipe down. And then I have a dry cloth that I use to wipe it all away for everything from the body of the guitar to the neck and the fretboard and all of that. All different cloths every single time. Speaking of chemicals, let me show you some of my favorite stuff I use. For cleaning guitars, like bodies and stuff like that, there is absolutely nothing better, in my opinion, than this. The Music Nomad 1 guitar spray. This is the only thing you need. There are a lot of other products that are for detailing and polishing and stuff like this. This is awesome for everyday use because it's an all-in-one spray that you can just use on the guitar, wipe it on with a wet cloth, wipe it off with a dry cloth. Absolute essential to any TankTheTech box, again, in my opinion, because all techs are different. Next thing I absolutely love is the F1 oil, again, Music Nomad. This is specifically for fretboards, but I also use it when I am hydrating and cleaning the backs of guitar necks. Now, this little package is great because not only does it come with the actual F1 oil, which comes in a little thing just like that, it also comes with this cool little toothbrush looking tool that you can use for scraping gunk off your fretboards for the most part. And the other side of it there has like a little kind of like rigid tooth thing. I'm going to see if the camera will actually focus on it. There we go. You can wipe this cloth around it and you can use it on the edge of frets to get like excess F1 oil and stuff out of there. It's honestly one of, again, the essentials that I take on any tour. Past that, after I do restringing, I prefer another Music Nomad product called String Fuel. And this is basically like kind of like a fast fret. A lot of people like GHS fast fret that you can put on your strings, eliminates buzz, lets you slide up and down quicker. I like this one. It's great. You just take the cap off and run it up and down the strings. And this little piece here opens up and they actually have a little towel in there that you can use that you can also wipe down the strings when you're done. Great product, super cheap. I never go anywhere without this on tour either. For the guitar necks, after string changes and after I've used the F1 oil to clean, this is one of the few Music Nomad products I don't use, or one of the few products I use that isn't Music Nomad. This is called Finger Ease. It's actually from a chemical company, and it is specifically for any stringed instruments. Some people like to use this on their actual strings, but since I'm already using the string fuel, I don't. I spray this on the back of guitar necks and then wipe it down, and it really reduces sticking. Again, it's kind of like string fuel for a guitar neck. Hand can go up and down the neck really easily. You won't get stuck. It makes it really smooth and comfortable. And then a couple tools that Music Nomad makes that are great are these little things called Nomad tools. This first one here that looks like this, you can see on one side, it has a brush for dusting. Then on this side is a little microfiber cloth. Now, if you don't do a string change and you're not taking strings off the guitar, this is great because this gets under strings and it can get by the pickups to clean. And they also make a smaller version of it too that is fantastic. Going back to string changes, when I actually take strings off a guitar, I actually like to lubricate the bridge and the nut of a guitar, and I use Tune It, also from Music Nomad. I know you guys will probably think this video is like sponsored by Music Nomad. Well, guess what? It's actually not. This actually comes with a little pick like this that you put some of this on, and then you can work it into the saddles and the bridge and in the nut. And it's just for reducing friction. So when you're tuning and, bending and stuff like that, it reduces the friction that's put on the saddles and on the nut. So prevents string breakage and wear and tear and stuff like that. Great thing to have as well. Music Nomad also has this great little kit for guitar setups and string heights and stuff like that. And the reason I love it is because it comes with a string height measurement that you can use when you're doing setups or action and stuff like that. And it also has files for nut and stuff like that. Great thing to have. I don't use it a ton unless I'm setting up a guitar or changing action on it, but it's an invaluable thing to have if you're doing stuff like that. And the last thing that I'm bringing out on this tour is actually kind of new. Music Nomad does make all of these products as well, and I do have them. But when Ernie Ball recently sent me some of my new basses, they sent me their little Guitar Tech kit that I wanted to try out. And it does have great essentials in it. String clippers, which are invaluable. I mean, you can use them on a lot of different things, not just strings. A peg winder. I know that a lot of techs like to put peg winder attachments on drills and stuff like that. I personally don't, because when I'm restringing a guitar and putting strings on, I like to feel the tension on it so that I don't possibly over tighten or snap a string or anything. There's a screwdriver in here that is great because it's got a Phillips head on one side and a flathead on the other. This is more for standard stuff, standard size stuff. Again, I always bring out a micro set, like I said, just in case I need to work on really small Phillips or flathead screws. And then they've also got a couple cloths and a couple other things, but they also have an Allen key set in there as well, which is perfect. All bunch of different metric sizes of Allen keys that are used a lot on tour on a lot of different things. So another invaluable thing to have, but this will be the first time I'm using theirs, which, to be honest, again, it's Allen keys, it's hex keys. Can't really mess those up from any company, but we'll see how they work. And last but not least, black gaff tape. So those are the essentials in one of my fly date or small tour gear work boxes. Those are the things that I'm going to be using every single day. While there are a few more things in my workbox that again are just like random tools that I may not use a lot. They're good to have, but everything I just showed you is everyday essentials that will be used pretty much every time I work on a guitar. So while I probably didn't cover everything that you guys would like to see when I pack for a tour and stuff like that, again, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments and I'll let you know what I prefer or what else I take or something like that. But I hope this was kind of cool to see like the inside of the workbox. And while I'm out on this Powerwolf tour, you can keep up with me and see what I'm doing. I'm on most everything that's social media. My handle's at TankTheTech. I'll probably be posting a lot of pictures on Instagram if you want to follow there and see what I'm doing. And I might even do some live streams here and there. But I do also have some other tours later this year where I will probably be doing more behind the scenes content where you can actually see a lot of this stuff. And I may actually have my bigger workbox out there. But thank you guys, as always, for taking the time to watch this video. I hope you enjoyed it. One more time, I'm on almost everything social media. At TankMyTech is my handle, or TankMyTech, TankTheTech. I have a Discord server that a lot of us are always hanging on. I have the Twitch. Again, I'll throw links to all of that stuff in the description of this video. And again, thank you very, very much to Eargasm Earplugs for sponsoring this video. But until next time, be safe, be kind to each other, and I will see you guys very soon.